Alrighty guys, what is going on? And back for another video. Today we got Fred wandering around the fountain looking for some water. Today's gonna be a crazy day because these will be running today, so he won't have to really snooze around too much longer there. But I want to take a quick look at the plants today and just take a quick look at how much growth we've got because it's pretty crazy. Let's start right up front here. These amazingly pruned plants that I did again like I did that first year. This one here, you can see it gets a lot colder than the others with less sun. So you can see, if I just give you a wide look, you don't see too very much. Let's get in there and take a look at just a couple of the growth points we've got. Kind of hard to see. We've got one there. See it in the sun. We've got a couple, throughout the front, but this one here does not have very much. So you can see by this time, there's not very much. If I go around the base, see there's a couple down there. That's about all we're seeing on this one. On the edges and stuff too, you can see there's a couple. But pretty nice there. I love these plants, especially how they look there. So these here, the dogs kind of scorch the end of these in the season, or in the winter time, because they pee on them a little bit and I can't get them to quit. So that's what they do there. But this one here looks just amazing. The top was dead and it recovered beautifully last season. Tons of new growth came out of these. Excuse me. Tons of new growth came out of these shoots, and I'm hoping it's going to do the same this year for sure, because that was amazing. Look how much better it looks. I will never prune these again. That is for sure. Let's just hope they keep going good. Here we've got the other spirea. You can see there's more growth visible on this one. You got reds here. Let's see from the top, you can see some color as well. We've got some greenish oranges there. And it's been so much better since I pruned these back. The growth starts lower. They look better at the end of the season. And before, it was like literally mid-July before they were filled in fully. Now it's like late June, mid-June. So much better. But you can see quite a great amount of growth on that plant. I can get out of the sun there. That morning angle sun kind of gets you. But you still see just a couple growths, nothing big. And the biggest growth we've got is about, that or that. So nothing too big yet, especially in the middle. All right, so this one here was in despair condition. The whole middle was rotted. And so, see, it still comes out, but I cut it all down and it's helped significantly more. And you can see the edge still produces great growth. Not all your plants are gonna be the same. Some are gonna be different and some aren't gonna grow as good. That's normal, but it's still pretty healthy because look at this. It's actually got one of the bigger growths on any of the plants here. Definitely see some red coming out of it too. They look a little red at first. Pretty interesting bloom colors. Usually they're more of a green. So that's kind of cool. You can see we've got a little growth. And here we've got the other one. You can see some of the dog scorch from their pee on the side. Pretty typical. Your dog's pee has a lot more nitrogen, I think it is, if I'm correct about that. So if you catch it and water it down, it's actually can be a fertilizer for stuff like grass, I believe. But I mean, don't let your dogs pee on your grass and use it. I mean, but they've peed and I've watered it well and it's grown, better in that spot. But if you let it sit there, it will kill your grass temporarily. It will kill your plants. I mean, they'll compensate again. As you can see, you can definitely see that damage. But overall, they've recovered well and it doesn't look very bad on the whole thing. This one, the whole front died and I had to cut out the entire front of it. So you can see here too, they're scorching the side of that plant. But either way, it looks really nice. I really enjoy how these look. Especially this one. It looks weird because the top's gone, the front's gone, but I actually enjoy it. Look how cool that looks. Definitely unique. And people would say, oh, I want it out. It looks horrible. I'll put something new in. I don't do that. I like to give plants a chance. At least that's my perspective. It's still green, it's still growing. Let's give it a chance. And I'll get to that one again and show you about that one. But then this here, this one, and the stress this one has went through is just immense. The grass, look at the grass from the dogs. I mean, they chase around here. There's dirt on every surface, and the rocks always get moved. They're all piled up in the back. That's why I've got boards to hold the rocks in, and they're even overflowing over that. But and all the crap around this one I gotta get cleaned again. But still, look at this one's got more growth than any other plant in the area. And get out of the sun. Look at all the growth in the middle. But you know, you can see all that growth there. Look at all the growth. Put on one again here. Look at that. Really cool. This area stinks so bad. But you can see, it's not as red as the others, so it's harder to see, but there's a ton of growth all over in this one. Even on this end that's been compacted, tons of growth. So it's definitely doing okay. So there's a quick look at that one. Oh, stuff everywhere over here. So yeah, there's that. Zig's doing his morning watch of the neighbors. Anyway, right here, we've got this driftwood. I've got this driftwood from Delmo Lake in near kind of like Homestake in kind of the Butte area. Beautiful driftwood. I had to haul it. I had to park the car and walk across a muddy swamp and bring it back. And it was really heavy, but I got it. And so behind it, we've got, I still don't know the name of these plants. I'm serious, I still don't know the name of these. They started out as just a bunch of little things like this, you know, everywhere. And I said, I'm gonna let some grow, because it used to be a bush, and we must have cut them down, or they must have died. And so I said, let's let them grow. So I had to put a fence up for a couple years to get these to grow. And man, they did take off. Now they're sturdy enough to stay up on their own and have the dogs not destroy them. So see here, I'm gonna put this on 0.5. Some leaves are coming out of these. These get no sun pretty much all year, and I think they're supposed to be full sun plants, which is crazy. So they do survive pretty well, but they do get maybe a little morning sun in, you know, June maybe, but during like probably August through June, they literally don't get any sun because it's right next against the house on the north. So let's take a look at these. See, these have a little more growth than these back ones, but they should level out as time goes. So we'll take a look at that. But there's those. These here, amazing looking trees. We still do not need to prune those. I'll probably do that next summer or spring. Maybe the year after that. See the trunks? They still look pretty well as well. That one's higher up, like I like it. This one dropped a bit, but they really go under that one a lot more and probably have worn it out over time compared to this one. So there's that. And this, I'm gonna keep good track of this season, because look at this sedum. Or let's see, yeah, sedum. Just amazing. Look at the growth this has already put on. And it's dealt with cold frosts and everything of that sort. And I mean, I'm talking, there's a lot of growth here. Let's see, you know, how much it comes out of the ground. And look at that color. That is just amazing. I love this plant. Wow. From different angles, you get different colors. There's like a blue on this side. And so these, with these sedum, oh, look at that wasp. Oh, I don't like touching that thing. And then here's this other one. This one here, it's like I said, it's got no room to do anything because this plant's shaded out. It was actually dying before this one, and then this one died. And then I cut it all out and revealed this structure, which is what you see on it now. If we just take a quick look at this one, I was able to bring this back. I've explained it in every one of my videos. I'm not gonna go into it again, but it's looking pretty well. But this one, it was dying, and then I cut it back, and now it's got some light and airflow. But that, it was getting smashed in between everything here. All right, so here, the daylilies, they're looking great. Dogs sometimes smash them, but they've been better about it this year than most other years. These apply kind of the same way, different colors from different directions on those. This one here is always the slowest. Let's see there. And there, that's a pretty nice one. And then these, we've obviously just pruned these in that last video I made. I don't prune that one anymore either. And so these look really nice. They've recovered well too from, gotta get going on the weeds, but they've recovered well from the over pruning we had to do years ago. And then if we walk over here, see this one as well. Oh, I love that green grass. If I'd have cleaned the poop up before this video. All right, and these potentilla, there's no sun over here, but you can see, look at that, a lot of growth on this one. And it's gonna probably start really coming out in this next week because the temperature is gonna be pretty warm. So I wanted to really record this before everything really started coming out so I can get it documented. But this here, these are really hard to see and they're really late to bloom. But you can see there's like little greens on some of them. Like these here are getting pretty dang close to, you know, blooming out. But I don't know if they're gonna flower this year. See, some of them died off through the winter, but these should compensate that. It usually happens. I'm not too concerned. If I can let a little bit of these get established, it should be a lot better. So you can see there's just little white tips or little green tips on the end of those. That's the start of the growth. It's very slow. The hose is still kind of frozen. This one too, you can see that if I get near a darker surface. All those little green tips. Oh, sorry, Fred. Right there on the 0.5 here. So definitely starting to get some growth. So we'll see how these do. Usually I cut them back. I'm leaving them tall this year and just kind of cleaned out the dead in the pruning. So we'll see kind of what happens. I'm really curious to see. I want to get a tall, thin, narrow, tall structure on these plants. So let's see how we can do that. Here's the other potentilla. And then these, look at the candles. We've already got candles that are much longer. So the beautiful plant there, I no longer cut these either since that bush decided to kind of die on us. But let's get a close up on some of these candles. Look at that. That one there is really nice. Let's see. A couple thicker 3-pronged ones right here. And just single pronged. Yeah, that one's pretty nice. Definitely enlarged and longer now than they definitely were. Pretty uniform growth too, if you look. We've got a lot down there as well. So yeah, this here was that other potentilla. Like I said, it's growing real well. It died. And now it's only growing from the center, but I mean, what's there is growing. And it looks like we've even got more coming up. So I'm glad with that. I'm glad I cut that back. So let's just see what it does. And that's another driftwood I found. This here, this one has a little more of a less growth. It's like a little more crowded in the middle. It's got a different growth pattern in the middle. So it's a really dense looking, you know, Mugo pine. Let's take a look at some of these candles. And if you guys are wondering what I'm saying candle for, that's what these are called. These little growths called candles. You want to, if you're cutting this plant back to keep it a certain height, you want to chop these off when they start getting long, but before they turn into hardy wood. So you can see this one here is more dense and got shorter growths than the other one. And down here we've got more spireas, just the smaller ones. I always stand in the way here. And these, you can see, do have some appearing growth. My phone's kind of dim now, so I'm gonna do my best to record it, but we do have some growth coming out of all these areas. And even down in the front corners here, we've got definite growth. This one here, we've also got growth. And over here, we've got that clay soil from our field across the street. And when I tell you, you don't want that in your yard, I'm not kidding, because look at all the weeds that always appear in this area. We had to redo this whole area, and literally there's no weeds here, and then they're all over here. That's literally what happens. I mean, look at this. Look at some of these weeds. I mean, this is what you'll find in a swamp coming into the yard. Look at that. And it's all this dark clay soil. I mean, look at that soil. And that's what causes that. And over here we got a bunch of dog poop runoff from the body area, so it really smells great over here. But yeah, so I need to get the yard cleaned up. Should have done that before I recorded, but either way, there's this one's really struggling because we almost dug it all up, and it still grows from this side. So I'll probably just end up burying this side, getting it all cut flush, and leaving this, because this does grow pretty nice still. Look at all the growth. For what it is, I mean, it still, you know, does something at least. So yeah, crazy here, but this is what we call the windmill fountain, or the windmill planter. But it's really nice. I love the new rock over there still. So anyway, that's gonna be the yard. We'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna show you guys over there now, so let's do it.